Testing. We have a new moon here coming up on, well, actually, it's right now, today, in a few hours from now. And this new moon is in Sagittarius. We look here, and there's some interesting things that we can look at here. I know some people are freaking out about crypto and they're considering selling. They feel like they want to give up. But there's some interesting things coming up here. And I will give some targets on specifically how far down we could go, but also give a case where there's a possibility, not guaranteed, but there's a possibility for a move up. And I could show you around when that might be. So we do have this new moon in Sagittarius, and we do have Mars squaring the Bitcoin moon. So we look here on the astrology chart, and here's the Bitcoin charts in the middle circle here. The planets in the sky around are on the outside here, the outer circle in green. And we do have the new moon here happening in a few hours, about 5 hours from now, 6 hours from now. And this new moon conjunct the sun is going to be squaring Neptune, which is not great. It could bring more confusion. A lot of people are feeling confused out there, and markets don't like confusion. So that's one of the reasons why the markets are not doing so well right now. There's been a lot of Neptune themes, a lot of squares to Neptune. We just had Mars squaring Neptune, Mars squaring Saturn. That can be brutal for markets. It can just keep everyone kind of in this confusion. The interesting thing is this moon is also squaring the Bitcoin moon. So we have the sun and the moon here in Sagittarius. That's where the sun and the moon are right now in the sky. But the Bitcoin chart is in the middle, and they actually make an exact, almost exact 90-degree angle here, which is a square. And a square is a hard aspect. And so if you're fairly new to astrology, that can bring challenges. And in terms of crypto and financial astrology, Bitcoin astrology, it can bring a contraction. But sometimes it can happen a little bit early or a little bit late. So it's interesting that in the price action, we could take a look at that, is yesterday we had a dump. And sometimes that can happen. So we already dumped yesterday down to 84,000. We got a pump today, but there's just a lot of really weird activity going on in the markets, just up, down, up, down. And, on the 16th, we had a pump up, and then it just got rejected, and now we have another pump up. But it hasn't really gotten that high so far. And we're about to close the daily candle pretty soon. But if I made this channel right here from the lows and then from these little peaks here. You could even bring it down a little bit, perhaps. And there's a possibility. In the bullish case, we head up to this peak here. This trend line, which, best case could be around 97,000, 98,000. But then worst case scenario, we just head back down. And we will be taking a look to see if the astrology has any hints in store for us on which direction we're going. Astrology is not 100% accurate, but man, my overall predictions for this year are, actually the last 3 years are still at 86%. And I have been recording these predictions. I could show you real quick. Let's see if I have it up. Yeah, so these are predictions in the past, all the way back to January 11th, 2023. So how many years is that? 1, 2, 3. 3 years, and look at all these predictions. And the check boxes, I got them right. And then if it was less than a checkbox, basically, or a 0, then that means I didn't get it right. Sometimes I got it half right or 3/4 right. You see here, December 20th, I got those wrong last year. And then, of course, my predictions for November I got wrong. A lot of people got that wrong. A lot of pretty much everyone was saying we're going up in November, and we just went down. So I recorded that. I got that wrong, and I still have. Take a look here. The percentage. That's 86%. Not bad. 86% predictions. Over the last 3 years. So we do have some serious validity for the crypto astrology here. And like I said, it's not always 100% accurate. It also is not easy. I also use my intuition with this, guys. And I look at the macro markets, and I also look at, trading, and I also look at the astrology. But like I said, I also bring in my sixth sense, my intuition. And man, so far it's been going quite well. 86%. That's even surprising me. When I began this, I thought, well, if I can get anywhere around 80%, that's like really good. So, not bad. I'll pat myself on the back real quick. But a lot of it depends on who is predicting and who is reading the charts, and are they a trustworthy person? Do they have strong intuition? Things of that nature. So it's not just like anyone can do this. Some people think they can just learn this in like a few hours and just master it, but no, it takes years and years and years. And I've been studying this stuff for 9 years now. So, anyways, we have this new moon here. It's actually the 20th in Southeast Asia, but it's the 19th in America. So this is happening in 5 hours, and we are getting that square. We're getting the square to Neptune. You know, the next day we get the sun squaring Neptune, then we get the Venus squaring Saturn, which none of that is great for the markets. So in the short term, not so great. So I'm not surprised we have not surpassed like 90K. Ideally, we want to get to past 90K, and we want to hold that as support. We want to hold above 90K, and then we could have a chance to get up to like 96, 97, maybe even maybe just like 94 or something. And if in the case we do not make it above that, then I'll show you some downside potential targets, which are actually really interesting. I just did a deep analysis on some really solid areas of support that we could get. I know some people are freaking out. Some people have been just holding crypto for a long time, and now they're thinking about selling. I mean, the time to sell was like obviously back here, even all the way back in August or July. But also, when we got this rebound, this was around when I was telling everybody that I sold. Oh, wait, no, when was it? It was like around here and here. And wait, when did we have the October crash? Oh, it was right here. Oh, so I think I sold some right here as well. And so, the times to sell were like more over here than when we're all the way down here. And, if we do get an uptick, it could even be in January, but if we do get a pump up, that could be a good opportunity to take profits if that is your strategy. If you think the market's going to continue downwards. But let's look a little bit more forwards. So even end of December, yeah, it's not looking great either. Jupiter square Chiron, which can bring up kind of emotional wounds and more contraction energy, because when Jupiter squares, it can get the opposite of expansion, so that's not great. And then Venus squaring Neptune, gosh, that could just bring more confusion, as Neptune often brings confusion. Markets don't like confusion. And then at the end of the month, to top it all off, we get Mercury square Saturn. And so Mercury is the planet of trading, squaring Saturn, the planet that can bring contractions and tough lessons in reality and obstacles and challenges. That's not looking great. So there is even a chance that we don't move much higher up. But the only good news I could see is that actually the specific Bitcoin astrology based on the Bitcoin chart, this is separate, is actually getting a couple positive transits. So there actually is a possibility Bitcoin could get a move up in the next, let's say 10 days. So that's pretty interesting because we do get Uranus sextiling the Bitcoin ascendant. And Uranus is the planet of crypto, and making that positive aspect to the Bitcoin ascendant chart is good. That's positive. So we could get a breakout up. It's possible. I'm not necessarily predicting that. I'm just saying the energy, the potential is there. And then Jupiter is then sextiling the Bitcoin Saturn on the 29th. That's pretty positive. So there's a chance that Bitcoin could hold above this trend line here. Let's say around like 87,000. And if we can hold above that for the next 10 days, we could get a move back up to 96 or 98 and maybe even 100. That's pretty interesting. But we have some big challenges. We do have the daily exchange volume is still super low. I mean, look at how low it's gotten. It's gotten as low as it was back in June, the exchange volume. And usually we want to see the exchange volume going up. Otherwise, the moves up are often not sustainable moves. Basically, you could think of the exchange volume kind of as like the ocean tides going in and out, and we want the ocean tides to be going up. We don't want it to be going down in order to hold up the crypto market. So that's a concern. Let's look at the Bitcoin ETF inflows and outflows. I mean, this is usually a contrarian indicator, meaning when we get huge inflows, that can be a good sell signal. And then when we get big outflows, that could be a good buying opportunity. Because you look back here, when we got big outflows, those were pretty good buying opportunities because within a month, the price is going back up. But when we got huge outflows, those were actually good times. I mean, these green lines, those are good times to take profits because shortly afterwards, Bitcoin fell off. We did just get let's say a medium-sized inflow yesterday or 2 days ago. So there's a little bit of concern there. Yeah, it's tough to say though. I mean, last time we got something like that may have been back here when Bitcoin was kind of trading sideways. So we could be getting a bit more trading sideways energy. If we look ahead a bit, we do get a little bit more positive astrology January 5th. And then on the 29th, like I was mentioning. And then, yeah, we get a nice transit on the 16th of January. So there is a possibility we head up a bit more in January. It's tough to say exactly how this will play out, but so far this new moon, the astrology is not looking great. But then the next 10 days looks okay. Looks pretty good for Bitcoin specifically. I don't know about altcoins. But let's say, so there's a chance we might hold up. At least for the next few weeks, possibly. None of this is guaranteed though. We could absolutely test like 80K again. It's possible. We could see wicks down. But okay, let's zoom out. When in doubt, zoom out. Let's look at the previous all-time high right here. I put a trend line there. And let's also look at the previous all-time high of 2017 right here. And the interesting thing is, what did we do in the last bull run? Well, we went above the all-time high. We went way up. Then we came back down. Did not test the previous all-time high yet before it went back up. And then once we were in the bear market, then we tested the previous all-time high down here. We even went a little bit lower before we came back out. All right, so keep that in mind. Remember that. Now, what are we seeing in this bull run cycle? We did something similar as we broke out from the previous all-time high. We corrected down. We did not touch the previous all-time high in April 2025. So that was this year. We went back up for a new all-time high, just like it did in November of 2021. Now we're correcting back down. And in a sense, this is basically the bear market, but there's a chance, there's a very real chance that we might hold support around, you know, the previous all-time high, which was, 68, 69,000. But, also this other peak was around 65,000. So there's a chance we could hang out in the mid 60s for a while. And I'm not sure exactly when that could be, but it could be around March or so. Or maybe May or June of next year. But the good news is that might be the low for the bear market. Because, just like I said, that's what we did in the last bear market. We hung out around those levels. How long were we in that range for? Well, it was a little while there. Let's see. Kind of hanging out there for 210 days or so before we broke out and started the next bull run. 210 days. So in that case, it could be a long 2026, as that could lead out pretty far into 2026. But that could be, if that's what happens, that could be a great accumulation time for the next run up. So I thought that was really interesting, because if people are thinking bear market, they might think we're going down to like 30K again or something. But also the fact that we did not go up very much from the previous all-time high. Let's see, it's only like, what is it, like 82% we went up from the previous all-time high. Versus the previous bull run, we went up like 250, about 250%. So when we haven't even gone up nearly as much as we did in the last bull run. And that could mean that we're not going to go down as far either. So I hope that makes sense. All right. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Massively freaking out, unfortunately. Should have listened. Yep. So the good news is that the learn is through our mistakes. So think of this as a learning and growth opportunity, because I told everybody that I was selling 2 months ago, and a lot of people didn't listen. So this can teach you to, only if you are open to learning the lessons, this can teach you some extremely valuable lessons that you can use in the future that can help you get insanely wealthy. Now I know it's really, really hard now, but as long as you take this lesson forward with you, learn the lesson and make the necessary changes, this can actually be valuable for you. Because a lot of people don't learn until they make mistakes. All right. So, and if you learn from the mistakes, then you can grow and get better and better. And a lot of the most successful people I know of went through some of the deepest, darkest times and biggest mistakes that they learned from, and now they have become incredibly successful. So if you think in the long run, it can actually be a positive to actually learn from our mistakes. Do I think that XRP will rise from the ashes, or is it a distraction? XRP is a concern. Let's see. In the short term, it might go up. I mean, here's the biggest concern about XRP is this chart right here, where XRP is following the bear market path that it made in the last bear market. And so far, it's following this blue line extremely closely. So it could get a little pump up, but that might be a take profits opportunity, because it could continue to head down. So that overall does not look good. Now, the astrology is looking better in January. So there is a possibility we get a run up, if not in the next 10 days. We could get a brief run up. We could even get a run up in January, like I said. So that might be the best chance. But XRP especially does not always follow the astrology, so it's certainly not guaranteed. Do not bet the farm on that one. But like I said, there could be a chance there. I do still have some XRP. I sold pretty much all of it a while ago, but I bought back in a little bit around $2. So I'm hoping we'll get back up, but if we don't, I only have a small bit of my portfolio in there right now. I haven't seen any signals in the charts to sell any of my positions. It sucks, but I'm holding and looking for. Yeah, another thing is, I mean, if you're willing to wait out another year, we could be doing very well a year from now. So, I mean, honestly, in the big picture of things, a year is not that long. I mean, if you think of our lifetimes could last 100 years, especially if you're young, and with new technologies coming out for healthcare, we could be living even more than 100 years. So 1 year is not a big deal. If you zoom out, could you please make a healthy negative outlook without all the hopium? Yeah, that's what I try to do. So I mean, a healthy negative outlook is that we could be in a bear market, but like I was saying, Bitcoin might hold support around 65,000 or maybe even 69,000. And if that's the case, then I'll be accumulating more. And I think we could easily be at those levels by March, if not before then. Yeah, so that's my healthiest kind of negative outlook. And so do what you will with that information. You got to do your own research, make your own decisions. Volume is low because people have been getting wrecked. Yeah, for sure. I think most have walked away from the market through the end of the year. Yeah, I know. It's hard to even look at the market right now. It's just like I don't even really want to look at it. 90K, then 74K, then 150K. Yeah, that's actually definitely possible. That is definitely possible. Like I said, it could go down to like 65K. I wouldn't be surprised. Like I said, maybe by the end of March. Yeah, so that's certainly possible. Great questions, great comments. Thanks to everybody for tuning in. Another little hint here, the Solana astrology is looking pretty terrible in January, which is, I think out of all the coins, the Solana astrology looks the worst in January compared to a lot of other ones are looking more positive. So I am not buying Solana because I'm waiting for more possible downside. Just based off of the astrology. I mean, the last time, look at this. Look how accurate this has been. Look at the red lines. That's when Solana's got super negative astrology. So it had super negative astrology in September. That was the peak. So it started dumping after that. And then it got another negative astrology hit on the October 19th when it's already dumped so much. And now it's dumping even more. And then we get another negative on January 5th and another negative on January 29th. And look at the last time also we got these red lines. Huge dumps, and then the price is being held down here. Now, it can be a good buying opportunity. If the price is fairly low and we hit these red lines, can be a good buying opportunity. It can still dump afterwards, but usually heads a little bit more back up. But man, concerns for January for Solana especially. I mean, look at even this red line over here. That was the Neptune conjunct the Sol Mercury, which can bring a lot of confusion in the markets. The Solana price was way down around the same price it is right now. And right after that, it was a great buy opportunity because we pumped all the way back up to $264 per Solana. So there's a huge hint, guy. I'm giving you guys the goods. So hope you enjoyed this video. Please like and share this video with someone else who could value from it. I gave a lot of really valuable information today. Spread the love. The number one thing you can do to support the channel is share it with a friend who could benefit from this information, as well as like the video. And even better, subscribe. Smash the subscribe button. Thanks, everybody, for your support. And let's see. We got a few more comments. 65K is a 200-week EMA. Yeah. You're welcome. And yeah, 65 to 74K is a good chance. All right, good stuff, guys. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace out. Much love.